to translate yira as fear is not really a fear translation. Sorry for that pun. Because when you say the word fear, what's implied in English, when you say I fear something, the implication is almost always that you're fearing some sort of punishment or some sort of consequence, something bad that can happen to you. And Yiras Hashem does not at all mean that. We've spoken about this in the past. There is something called Yiras Ha'inish. Yiras Ha'inish means fear of punishment. The Alter Rebbe doesn't mention Yiras Ha'inish in Tanya. Yiras Ha'inish is not discussed in the entirety of Tanya. So when the Alter Rebbe is talking about Yira, he's not talking about that. When a father tells a child, don't do something, I'm not talking about a 6-year-old child, so the child is not doing it because he's scared that he might be punished. But I'm talking about a mature child who's an adult, and the father or the mother says, I'm asking of you, please do this for me, or please don't do this. So, together with the ava for the parent, there's also an element of yira. But the yira isn't, I'll be punished for it. The yira over here is more of a awe, more of a reverence, more of a, if my parent asks me to do it, I have to do it. Not because of ava. We're not talking here about ava. Not because I'm excited to, because perhaps I'm not excited to. Ava means I want to. Ultimately, the word ahava is about, the word ava is related to the word ava. Ava, which means to desire. Like V'lei ava Hashem shmaya el bilam. Ava, when I have love for something, that means I have desire for it. So one thing is, my parent could tell me to do something, I desire to do it. That's ava. But what if I don't desire to do it? I'll do it anyways. Why? Because of yira. I have a respect. Yira is really respect, reverence, awe, fear altogether. Yira is when you're doing something because it's imposed upon you. It's not necessarily what you would desire to do, but because it's being imposed upon you by an entity that's greater than yourself. What makes that entity greater than yourself? Well, in the very, very lowest level, what makes that entity greater is that entity is holding a stick and can give you a clap. But that's the very, very lowest element. On a higher level, it's very possible that just the very existence of this higher entity, which is an imposing entity and an awe-inspiring entity, you have a year for that. By way of example, okay, imagine if Moshe Rabbeinu appeared right now in front of you and says, do me a favor, I want you to go to the next block for me and get me a coffee. It's probably not what he would ask if he would appear, but imagine that. So there would be an element of ava there, there's no question, you'd have a desire to, but there would also be a tremendous yira. What is your yira? That he's going to strike you with kinim or with svardeya? It's a yira from the person. It's a yira from Moshe Rabbeinu himself. So yira is about something being imposed on you, even though you don't want to do it.